Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas with Donovan and John. We are here to help you out. Now, let's just get to it.
Their lack of energy really keeps them up.
They're alternatives, but I don't think they'll ever go to scale.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, unless they can. I mean, the turn would have to be pretty tight for them to get more energy out of ethanol without burning up or eating rubber, burning up parts, that kind of thing. And then now ethanol, is that the corn-based one?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So that would also mean that the entire state of Iowa would be making ethanol.
I thought you were going to say corn, and I was going to say they already do.
Right?
The entire state already makes corn.
No, and that's the point, right? They're actually farms there that are making corn specifically for ethanol. So they have a kind of a symbiotic relationship with oil company.
There are plants there that take corn from those, but the whole reason we even developed ethanol was because we have excess corn. We don't create corn specifically to turn into ethanol.
But we can't.
We as a country just generate too much corn.
Right. But we don't eat enough of it. It's not good for you anyway.
It's not for us. It's for cows.
Yeah, there you go. And I like cow corn. Anyway, so I honestly think that between electric and hydrogen, at this point in our ability to make fuel, probably the two most likely sources of alternative fuel. Well, electric's not really alternative fuel in that. I guess it is. It's how you get it.
It's energy. Fuel and energy are different things.
Right. So, but I think those two are probably going to be the most. I know in California is very excited about electric. They've just told all the car companies that want to sell in California that by, 2040?
I saw that.
Yeah, almost all the cars they make have to be electric to come into California. Well, that'd be great if we built some dams and some wind turbines and I don't know, maybe some of those wave turbines to actually create enough electricity that we can store to use, which is one of the reasons that I like hydrogen over electric. But hydrogen right now requires a lot of electric to get a little bit of hydrogen. And
hold on, here we go again. You
okay.
need hydrogen is making electricity, right? In a hydrogen car, the hydrogen motor is not powering the wheels.
The hydrogen motor is not powering the wheels. Is that what you said?
No, the hydrogen motor is not powering the wheels. The hydrogen motor is exactly like a series hybrid. The fuel goes into the motor charges a battery, the battery runs the electric drive.
Okay, that's like the kind of like, it's not the Volt hybrid, which is the one that
the Volt was supposed to be designed like that, but the BMW i3 is designed like that.
Oh, it is. That's the little one, right?
Yeah, they have a 3-cylinder engine that charges a battery. The battery drives the motor.
How efficient is that? Or non-efficient?
Well, it's not. It's not very efficient.
I was gonna say it doesn't sound very efficient, but
the beauty of this idea is that you can run an engine at a very specific frequency that allows it to be at its most efficient frequency, right? So when you have internal combustion engine driving the wheels, you've got a tachometer that goes from 1,000 to 10,000 RPM. The internal combustion engine is only efficient at one of those RPMs, right? It's like maybe 4,000 RPM. It's where it burns the least amount of fuel for the most power output, right? That's what efficiency is in this case.
Right.
When you put a battery pack in the middle, you can run that engine at that efficient RPM to charge the battery pack, which then plugs or goes out to the wheels. That increases efficiency over just having your engine in there. But when you're looking at the total energy use, there's losses of efficiencies everywhere. And overall, it's like a wash. But yeah, anyway, back to the hydrogen example. Hydrogen does not power the wheels directly.
So it's just a hydrogen generator. I mean, it's just a generator, basically.
It's a generator.
Generator generates electricity. The electric runs the pumpkin for the wheels.
Yes.
So
that's why I want to make that distinction between fuel and energy.
Right.
Energy, yeah.
Okay, so it does both inefficiently, basically.
Yeah.
So let me ask you that, because your knowledge is so much deeper than mine. This breakthrough it's the Techion. Where is it? It's called Techion, Israel Institute of Technology. It says they developed an innovative, clean, inexpensive, and safe technology for producing hydrogen. What I think my question now is, what's the point of creating the hydrogen if you're just making it, the engine, a generator? If you're not adding that, you're not replacing the internal combustion engine with that.
There are still applications that would benefit from replacing a gasoline or diesel-based combustion engine with a hydrogen-based combustion engine. If you think about ships, if you think about
so very large,
large things, exactly, where you can really scale down the size of your I forget what they call it, the fuel cell. That's what they call it. You scale down the size of your fuel cell. The weight of compressed hydrogen is going to be a lot less than the batteries you need to store the energy, because you need a much smaller battery than you need for an electric car, because you're not storing all your energy in the battery. The battery is just acting as what's called a capacitor. The battery is just acting as a short-term storage device that the hydrogen fuel cell is always feeding energy into, right?
Well,
so
like
you can reduce a lot of the kind of weight of a vehicle that comes from having it purely electric by offsetting that with hydrogen storage to a fuel cell to a smaller battery. So I think for technologies like generator backups for large buildings, that could easily be a fuel cell with a hydrogen tank storage, somewhere on site. Ships, large transport, maybe construction vehicles could benefit from being hydrogen based. I think there's still a use case there, but I think for you and I to drive around in a hydrogen car and expect the gas station down the street to be stocked with hydrogen is not the right future. And it's also a long way off.
Yeah, and it's certainly not. Because when I first heard about this, and I knew that there was a hydrogen station, it sounded international, and I did not know that there was as many as there are around the Bay Area. But I thought that, that was my hesitation in even looking at a hydrogen vehicle. The Honda Clarity was the first one I saw, and then the Toyota Mirai. Now the Clarity is a hybrid gasoline electric vehicle, as opposed to the Mirai, which has stayed a hydrogen vehicle. The Techion researchers have built this thing. I love this. The technology significantly improves their newer technology. Improves the efficiency of hydrogen production from what is now about 75% using current methods to an unprecedented 98.7% percent energy efficiency. That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And if you can turn that into, if you can downsize it, because it sounds like it's easy to upscale to something large, like one of those earth movers that you see in the coal mines or the coal fields, or a giant cargo ship. If you can upscale, because in those two things you've got a lot of room to upscale, and if you can upscale to using this type of technology to an engine that's going to push enough energy into the battery pack to run an earth mover, you've just saved a ton of money and maybe moved it out of that environment altogether.
What does that have to do with the Israel Institute's production efficiency?
Well, if their production efficiency is better, then their 22-pound motor is going to be as efficient as, say, something that's 35 pounds because of size.
Oh, so their improvements are in turning water into hydrogen. So they've improved that efficiency. The fuel cell efficiency takes hydrogen and turns it into electricity. Those are two different
Oh, I see what
steps.
you're saying. Okay, well, but what I'm understanding you saying though, so about larger ships and that kind of thing for hydrogen, because like you said, that you don't have to have such a large electric pack because you can store the hydrogen energy. Am I understanding that correctly, or am I totally missing that?
For something like a ship, if you wanted to create an all battery electric ship, the amount of batteries you'd have to store would be millions of pounds. Whereas if you turned it into a hydrogen powered ship, it would only be a fraction of that, right? In gas that you're having to store.
Okay.
And producing.
And producing what? Oh, water. Right. All right, then I am absolutely out of my league here because I misunderstood this. I mean, well, hey, I admit it. I misunderstood what they were saying about the efficiency but it's the efficiency of how they make hydrogen as opposed to the efficiency of hydrogen itself. So, which is still pretty cool.
That's half the battle, right? Is we were talking at the top of the hour, maybe even before we started recording, and how you need energy. It's an energy intense process to even create hydrogen. This greatly improves that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all right. I'll still save you, John.
You're still cool, dude.
I'm so happy you came to help us. Again, Alex is a Detroit boy, and since a little guy just ran up with him, and I've never seen him not want to talk about energy efficiency or cars. Either one of those things, it's all good.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you being here all the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I do have a dinner to start making, but I really appreciate it. This kind of discussion is always great. And in fact, what really annoys me is I'm about to go cook on a natural gas stove, and I cannot wait to get rid of that and turn it into electric with solar generation and battery backups.
Now, you bought this house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're planning on being here for a while. You like California.
Buying something to me doesn't mean it's automatically a long-term relationship. I've bought and sold large value items quickly, and it's no sweat off my back if I wanted to leave next year. I
keep forgetting that you're like a Gen Z kid. We don't tip. We don't do those things.
Everything's fleeting.
Yeah. I would love to discuss that, but that's a whole nother thing. I don't think I have anything else. Do you have anything, Alex, that we missed, or maybe that you want to talk about?
No, I think this is a topic that can be talked about for a long time. I think on the energy part of it, there are, we talked about two distinct things: transportation and electricity generation. I think electricity generation has a ton of options. I think your whole energy storage discussion is a whole topic in itself that hasn't really had a lot of investment or interest, really.
Well, outside of Tesla, I think that was pretty
right.
That was pretty
I
hefty.
Completely agree.
Yeah, outside of him, no, there hasn't been a lot of work on storage.
And there are so many natural options for that. You can move water around. You can compress air down into the ground. You can do all sorts of stuff.
That reminds me, you wanted to talk about geothermal.
That's a good one. That's using heat pump technology. Won't get into that now, but that seems to be also well off from being investigated.
I don't know.
I think that also
I was
would
gonna say,
be
one of the guys
interesting
that
for this.
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
I just think something that would be interesting for this duo, you and Donovan, is the Biden's administration and their approach to alternative energy. They've really ramped up. I think knowing this rocket ship that we're careening into the earth over the next couple decades, and they're ramped up to make some big improvements. So I think these kind of discussions are going to be a lot more important coming up.
Okay, I was gonna say, one of the guys that I like to watch on YouTube, Tim Pool, he just bought a place in West Virginia this past year, and he didn't realize when he bought it, it came with geothermal heating and cooling for the house. He says he gave a really simple description of it. Pipe goes into the ground stays at about 57 degrees all year long, and keeps his house at a nice cool 70-ish degrees all year long. He says it's cake. I don't have to do anything with it. It's awesome, which I thought was really cool. I had never heard of geothermal heating in that or cooling in that manner before, where it was built for a house. It's usually when I've heard about it before, it was usually about homes that are built into the ground or into the side of a mountain. The Indian places in, I want to say Hopi, I'm probably wrong, but hey, he's back. Having them built into the side of a rock, and all the little spaces in there stay at a constant 60 degrees. I was like, that's awesome. But there was nothing about running water through the system and doing
That's
all
a
that.
passive.
Right.
That's
That's
a passive version.
Right. And that's all I'd ever heard about before him talking about his new house. It was a very cool learning experience for me. It was like a little 2-minute blurb. He's talking about other stuff, but he talked about that. I thought, oh, that's awesome. That's a really cool idea. I'd love to do that here. Just because California is very consistent in its temperatures.
It would work perfectly for most of us along the coast. It's just high capital intense,
Right.
high capital cost.
Yeah, he said it wasn't a cheap system, but he was glad it was in there when he got there because he wouldn't have done it otherwise.
I think
I'm sorry, you go ahead.
To me, part of the entire alternative energy discussion is incentives. There's no way you're going to get every Tom, Dick, and Harry to just do this on their own. You have to forcibly do it, or you have to incentivize to do it. That's a whole discussion.
Yeah, California's got some good incentives, but not a great deal.
Yeah, so and subsidies for the industry too. So like incentives for electric and hybrid cars that California has, stuff like that. More people buy them. So it's all about having the buy-in from the government. I agree. I think so. Yeah. It's like to kind of help initiate progress in those industries.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, and that's how Tesla kind of built his company, was using a lot of government subsidies to start his company up and get it rolling. I think he did a great job doing that. Not many people were able to be that efficient with that money, which there's a bunch of companies by the roadside that didn't make it because of that. They just weren't able to use the money that they were given by the government to be efficient in making their vehicles. It helped that Musk is a billionaire and he was able to dump a bunch of his money into it, but he had to do proof of concept. Not at the time.
Not at the time.
I thought he did proof of concept under his cash.
I'm just saying he wasn't a billionaire. He was only a millionaire.
Only a millionaire. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he's doing quite well for himself now. Anyway, I think we touched on everything we talked about. Did we miss anything?
Bounce.
Yeah. You got to bounce? Oh, yeah, you're getting hungry. I can see it in your face.
Thanks for the information. I didn't even realize that when you were talking about biofuels and what they produce, stuff like that. It wasn't anything that I read. So that was interesting to hear that.
And that's the really important thing about it. I think there's so much kind of hidden information that only if you dive really deep into. The only reason I knew about that is because I did my own research, because I was driving on it and I wanted the best impact for the environment. It's a real, the fuel portion is a real murky world because, like we talked about, Exxon and all these big companies kind of control that narrative. So, yeah.
Yeah, and when you get to control the narrative,
man.
that's when you start making the money.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
I don't got nothing else. You got anything?
Really good
Donovan?
chatting with you again.
All right. Hey, again,
See you,
thank you so very much for coming with us, Alex, on this trip. You always make it fun. You always feel like you're just one of the boys. I love it.
It's a pleasure.
Hope to meet you in person one day, man.
Oh, yeah. Hey, if you're ever out here, let me know.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to come out. He's
Okay.
going to have to come out pretty soon. All right. Thank you very much, fellas. I appreciate it. And to everybody out there in the audience, do me a favor, press that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, even if you say, hey, whatever, just leave a comment. It pushes up on the algorithms and helps us build this channel. We would really, really appreciate that. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.
Well, I'm Donovan, and John's here with us today. Thank you for joining us for the free exchange of ideas, and we'll see you next time on the next show. See ya!